Gardens are, by their very nature, open nature. That's one of the things that makes this neighborhood distinct from other neighborhoods, is that our local gardens have been paid for by the lives of the people who live here, who've claimed this little postage stamps of ground from some of the most valuable real estate on earth. And Jeff Wright, poet, citizen, and a walking example of the First Amendment.
And an educator.
And an educator. He certainly taught me a lot.
Well, he's taught a lot of people a lot.
He's taught a lot.
He's taught a lot to a lot.
To a lot. Just would like to go to the garden that's near his house and participate.
Community gardens are about community. They're all about a place for people to gather. At Chico Mendez, we realized early on, because that garden was endangered, that we needed to bring people into that garden. The easiest way to get lots of people to participate is to have parties in the garden.
Special magical things happen in gardens. The thing that I loved about the campaign to save Esperanza Community Garden was that we met there every day before work, and we had coffee and cocoa and made a bonfire. And someone said the warmest place in New York City is by the bonfire outside at Esperanza Community Garden. And we were planning ways to save the garden, and there was the More Gardens organizing campaign, which meant a little bit of direct action, a little bit of a legal strategy, a little festivities, a little pageantry, legislative advocacy. I was really seeing democracy in action in the garden.
In the spring of 1995, Wright arranged to meet with the artist Kenny Hiratsuka. Kenny was the only person who was gardening in the vacant lots across from him. Wright named these lots the Chico Mendez Mural Garden. The idea caught fire as many other neighbors came to plant and socialize in the garden space. Chico Mendez was murdered in Brazil in the 1980s for trying to save the rainforest.
None of these gardens are safe. They are up against powerful interests who would like to build on them, develop on them, and basically take them from the neighborhood. They would much rather have a luxury condo there than a meeting place outside of their commercial world that we live in.
After 3 years of enormous success, the garden was bulldozed under the Giuliani administration on December 30th, 1997.
A lot of people only came into gardens because of events. So we had these parties in order to bring people into the gardens. We had Pulitzer Prize-winning playwrights and poets reading in those gardens. We had bands performing. We had festivals, and it drew in thousands of people over those 2 years at Chico Mendez Mural Garden before it was finally bulldozed. The parties became a platform where the community could grow and become involved with each other and address other problems that we face. They established a network so that if there is pressure from the city to destroy these gardens, there will be people who can stand up and say, no, I've been in that garden. That's a great garden and I will fight for it. I'm invested in that garden. I've put time in that garden.
I'm sitting here behind pictures of Adam Purple. Adam Purple reminds us there's a lot we can learn about our urban future in a community garden. And hopefully we can take some of those lessons seriously with urban permaculture, with composting, with food security, as well as the idea of us building really truly democratic community gardens, dependent on each other, not as much on Green Thumb, but our own resources with each other. And I'm not here to disparage Green Thumb. I'm here to say I think our gardens have to be something we have control over in our own terms.
Communal activities there include growing plants from the ground and partying. Yeah, Jeff is also, he's a wonderful director. He knows how to make the earth
A lot
quake.
of special effects and
Yeah.
Nobody likes a party better than me. I love parties, but these parties were special. They weren't about having a big blowout of a party. This is where artists and poets and community members and musicians could meet, because we need a place where people can get together, where there's no other agenda. It's not like going to an opening or a poetry reading. It's not like going to happy hour and watching the football game. These parties were intergenerational. They had young children, they had older people. They were multiracial. People came from all walks of life, from the very rich to the very poor. These parties went on without a break for 10 years. Where else do you find this in New York? That's why these parties were important. Only events like this can save these gardens. They have to be more than just a reserve for retired people who go in and putter around with their plants.
And there's this idea that Tocqueville talks about, that you need civil society in between the market and the government. You need some space for regular people to hang out and talk, and not institutional space. I think some people think of them as union halls, some people think of them as pubs or public commons, but this really was sitting there in the garden in the freezing day in January 2000. I really felt like that was our public commons.
Where will the community celebrate America's birthday? In someone's backyard? We don't have backyards in New York. This space should be public. It has to be public to be worth saving. If people can't go in there, if they feel like they're excluded, if you walk by and the gate's always closed, who wants to defend that?
After the Chico Mendes mural garden was destroyed, Wright was a founding member of the New York City Community Garden Coalition, which continues. Yet the garden was controlled by a tight-knit group. They had little regard for democratic group decisions. For years, the garden was a subject to secret developments, tricky treasury reports, and a palpable sense of unfair favoritism. The garden had to go into mediation twice. By 2012, Wright began to attend meetings regularly and called the board out on their corruption, negligence, and exclusionary policies.
Thirteen concerned members who started sending these emails to control this board who was breaking all the rules. They broke like 28 rules. They said people couldn't talk at meetings. They said people who weren't members who'd been to 4 meetings, they wouldn't give people keys when they came to meeting after meeting. Said, oh no, you have to come to a private meeting, even though the bylaws were clear.
We had gotten nasty emails from board members, which alarmed Green Thumb, and they called a, quote, arbitration meeting. Roland Chalut didn't even bother to acquaint himself with the garden bylaws before he came to the meeting.
Facilitators from Safe Horizons were asked in.
For people to understand how to govern themselves, For people to learn about civics is a very valuable lesson. In these gardens, they have a chance to be real democracies.
They just don't get the idea of for the people. They want a private retreat, but I want a general membership. So I invited all my friends over.
I heard I could become a member. He told me I had to pay dues, I had to garden sit, and I would get a key. And one of the rules of the garden was you had to attend 1 of 2 meetings per year. And if you couldn't make those meetings, you could send a proxy. So one member sent a proxy to renew her membership, and the board member said, we won't accept a proxy, even though it's in the bylaws that you can use a proxy.
Okay, well, we're trying to get Jeffrey Wright proxy signed here. Okay, they're gonna accept your proxy. The power of the press. Okay, they're gonna accept your proxy. The power of the press.
Booster proxy, 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 booster proxy.
Exactly! What was that again? They're not going to take they're not going to accept the proxy? They are? What was that again? They're not going to they're not going to accept the proxy?
I still don't have it.
They are. Come on, this is a civil community we have here. Okay, they are.
The hard time you got on?
Yeah, community garden. I still don't have it.
Come on, this is a civil community we have here.
This is a community garden. This is
Yes,
not
it
the
is.
Supreme Court. This is a community garden.
I understand
not the
that.
Supreme Court.
Thank goodness.
This is
Yes,
not
it
the
is.
Supreme Court.
There were bylaws for the garden, but the board broke them. 13 concerned members made up a list of 28 bylaws that had been broken. The board spent lots of garden member money without approval. They said members could not email other members. They took things from the garden, like statues and a fence. And so about 5 people ended up getting kicked out, and they're not accepting any new members. Except for Everett was giving out keys to his friends.
When Wright insisted on putting term limits on the agenda, the board expelled him. He was told to remove his plants and surrender his key.
The board kicked Jeff out of the garden for, quote, subversive activity. To them, it was us forming a committee to address their consistent breaking of the rules. Green Thumb did not allow us any redress for their breaking of the bylaws.
It was very difficult to enforce the rules. They were playing by their own rules.
Sets of bylaws on their website.
We're going to convene to expel you right now. We're going to convene to expel you. We're going to convene to expel you. We're going to convene to expel you. We're going to convene to expel you.
Thank you. Thank you for recognizing me, friend. That's enough.
I haven't recognized you. And if you have something new to say, I hope it's new.
It is?
All right, so you have 2 minutes.
I hadn't noticed this exactly, but it is a question of what is this pile of junk doing back here, and what is this private entrance doing back here? Why do we have a private entrance? And isn't it a fact that probably some people who live in the building next door on the board above, and they have worked on cases that involved a garden, that actually where they shouldn't have been, they're a board member of 2 different groups. And so I don't really understand why there's a private garden back there anyway, a private entrance, private entrance, private entrance.
Time passed, I learned that they wanted to kick Jeff out of the garden. So we went to stop them from digging up his plot and his plants. We stood there and held hands and we sang to protest them wanting to destroy the plot.
We shall not be moved.
And then the police came. They arrested Jeff.
Do you know what's happening in the garden now?
No, I really don't.
They've kicked Jeff out. It should be impossible to kick somebody out of a public space that's a neighborhood space.
So we decided to have a key ceremony where we gave Jeff a symbolic key to emphasize the fact that this was a community with a gate and not with a fence.
In total, 41 people brought Wright a key in solidarity. The 41 keys represent the 41 gardens of the Lower East Side. They have been made into a mobile.
The point is that everyone should have a key to the garden.
To me, the important thing is that, a poet, a man of letters, and a civic-minded citizen of Lower East Side should be able to hang out, grow stuff in his little plot of the garden, and participate.
Lulu, how the fuck did you get a key?
A key is a state of mind.
That day they changed the lock, so I couldn't get back into the garden. They were keeping me out. They changed the lock.
And it does become political because people won't stand to have these gardens taken away from them now that they've become so precious. They also bring people into the gardens, and it's an instant education about the environment. They could know who their community members were. They could make a larger community. Other groups could go in there and have their meetings.
Look what I have here, a drummer's thumb to ensure our pact, and a sprig of wolfbane to drive Lulu insane. I have brought a thimble full of prickly thistles to engage the wraiths of hate in our favor.
And I have a touch of the crushed crown of thorn and a jigger brimming with score.
Let's stir our vile stew, sisters, and make our potion potent. Some sulfur from the powder of a stolen gun. Suicide notes from a suicide bomber. Molar of a child soldier who starved in the Congo. Then stir in some vermin and let it all simmer in order to change her, to finally destroy her!
It was awarded to Michael Schenker, the great squatter activist, who could recite the Constitution's preamble at our ceremonies, in which he did when he received his key. 6 of these were given out. Now, new people have one. So this is the one I'm going to wear. This one is going to Roy Ortiz, Star of Chico Award for joining in January and speaking out, coming to all our parties every time, rain, snow, sleet, or hail, fire. This one's going to Sue Strand for trying to join several times and being slandered in public that she wasn't a member and told to be quiet at a meeting also. This award goes to Barbara Bartolini, who's come to every party for the last 4 years. always has a smile on her face, which makes us all smile. This award is for extreme valor in the face of enemy fire. This award right here goes to our affectionately known member as Ahab, and that is Deborah Jinks, who's been coming to these meetings and literally saved our ass.
We're gonna get those keys from him. We're never gonna let him back in here. That scoundrel. You think I'm a rat? I'll tell you who the real rat is. It's him, the man with the key. What's his name? Jeff Wright? Jeff Cyphers Wright, some kind of poet. We don't want poets here. We want people who we want, whoever they are, but not people like Jeff Cyphers Wright.
Lord, save our neighborhood from the bankers who lust, from a real estate investment trust, from the mortgage banking scam that wants to destroy our land, from the bored evil directorate that doesn't make any sense of it. Lord, save a space for the children to be, away from the jumble, the rough and the tumble, a place in the shade, a home that we've made our place under the sun.
My heart forever rotating in sugary rose and fuchsia glacier, of the midwife anticipating my daydreams.
No leaders, please. Invent yourself and reinvent yourself. Don't swim in the same slough. Invent yourself and then reinvent yourself, and stay out of the clutches of mediocrity.
Eviction. See me? I only saw the lawyer once. He got paid $1,000 to appear in court. He said, forget about the 17 years relation. You need a vacation. Here, sign this.
The relationship between bird and fountain. If I see one more bird washing itself. What do you think? Self, the relationship of the self to water beneath the trees. All journeys become murmuring showers. From somewhere, a trumpet resounds, telling me that afternoon has arrived, soon evening, then morning, then an echo. Then the echo will begin again, and the gates will be reopened. Oedipus did not kill his father for nothing. Mother, sister, lover. She has not yet returned. I peer through the gates, look into the canal, see the garden, and the echo will begin again, and the gates will be reopened.
Now I hold a microphone, but this is what I want.
The parties never lasted past 8 o'clock at night. The people who were complaining about the parties and say the gardens are for the children, they didn't have the Easter egg hunts. We did. The people in the garden who wanted to have these events and realized it was for an important reason, and that reason was to share this resource and bring other people in and have it grow. And yet for them to complain about us using the garden once a month, to me it was just selfishness beyond.
I think our hex is now complete, and all who are here and here shall evermore be undefeatable in contest or in spirit, in love's dog and pony show or in the rapier's whiplash wit. Charmed shall we be who brightly burn like summer saffron here, free and wild in our requisitioned clubhouse.
We are star seeds, every one of us. You and me and me and you and him and her and them and they and those who know of this are truly blessed. True for all living beings, living, not humans only, but ants and trees and the open breeze, things that breathe air or fire, water, earth, all kinds of dust and dirt, particles.
Welcome everyone to the Dias y Flores Community Garden. We're here today to celebrate the spirit of Chico Mendez by giving awards for courage under fire.
We're gonna get those keys from him. We're never gonna let him back in here. That scoundrel. You think I'm a rat?
And grandmother, you, Adirondack Lake, on my Dalmatian.
They have asked me to surrender my plot and my key. We will never surrender.
And then of the screen door and grandmother, sofa, you.
More strange alchemy. Silver maple, golden key.
Today I am very proud to award Miss Barbara Bartolini for courage in the face of fire. The Star of Chico Award, first begun in 1996 in the defense of Chico Mendez Mural Garden, bulldozed in 1997.
I dreamt of you. Your Ferris wheel.
I hereby present the Star of Chico Award to Miss Lori Jane Ortiz.
And then of the screen door and grandmother, sofa, you, Adirondack Lake, on my Dalmatian.
Balzac, my brother, the art guy.
Give me those keys. Give me those keys.
And grandmother's keys.
Oh, it's one of the board members came to get my key. Sorry.
Adirondack Lake, on my Dalmatian.
Norkin, the official sommelier, aka Hawkeye. Thank you,
Lord,
my
save
brother.
our neighborhood from the bankers who lost, from a real estate
Max
investment trust.
Isaacson, the spirit of 76. Many demonstrations together to save the gardens. Thank you, my brother. The cookie lady, Miss Marianne, we met at a demo to save the gardens in 1996.
If I see one more bird washing itself,
you're the best.
I got the best deal for you. Eviction.
Marianne was there at the Betsy Ross gunpowder tea ceremonies. Mondays at Chico Mendez.
Here, sign this.
I present. Maury, my friend. Thank you. Oh, get out of here. Board member's back. You're fired.
Lord, save our
Sir's my
neighborhood
good
from the
friend.
bankers who lost, from a real estate investment trust.
Nobody can take you away with this key, and especially
And reinvent your life
with this buffalo power. They can't overcome you. No way. You
Oh, give me heart, my brother. Sit.
I dreamt of you.
Hopefully everything could be worked out. Here's your key.
Miguel, my friend, thank you so much. You come to all of our events here. You're the best. It's always the right key if it's from you, my friend.
I only saw the
Care,
lawyer
darling.
once.
Thank you, my sweet.
Screen door. Stay.
No leaders, please.
You day of days.
And then
of the screen door.
relationship of the self to water beneath the trees.
My neighbor. Thank you. We'll never leave. I agree.
Your Ferris wheel.
Lord,
You to be a long-time defender of the garden.
So sweet of you. I appreciate it very much. Oh, the board member's back. Which one of the gang of seven are you?
You, Adirondack Lake, on my Dalmatian.
James Dixon. You the man. You the man. Touch my heart.
I want to give Jeff Keys to the City
Oh.
by New York Electric Piano.
Nice.
Keys to the City. Two CDs, price one. Play it loud, baby.
Gracias. I'll see you back next week.
Oh, I want that
You
key.
should listen to this. You like music, board member? How about this?
Actually, when I made this one, I had this as a model.
No, you're fine.
No, this is my dear friend. Thank you so much. Judy Rivka, my dear friend, thank you so much.
Washing itself.
I got the best deal.
Lydia Cortez, the greatest poet. The spirit of Pedro Pietri is with us. And joy, the most marvelous things, like we could all fly away.
Self, the relationship
And
of the
joy,
self.
the most marvelous key. This looks like we could all fly away.
All journeys become
What's that?
showers.
The key to the house of Olympia. The only one. The persona of the night.
Thank you. The key to all of the gods, Mount Olympus calling.
All right, here you go, Paisan, comrade in arms. I present
If I see one more bird washing itself,
I got the best deal for you.
Like the Wizard of Oz, right? Now he's in
For
power.
cruel.
All right.
Thank you, my wisdom.
You, Adirondack Lake, on my Dalmatian.
self, the relationship of the self to water,
Young,
beneath
revolutionary year.
all journeys
Birthday,
showers.
new day of days, and then of this.
Hillary Keel, oh my favorite. Thank you. I'm crying now.
And grandma.
Jeff, I present you keys to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Too kind of you, Rachel.
Since my key offering is on the shelf on the wall, this I'm representing Steve.
Yuko, we've come a long ways together. We'll never surrender.
Never, we'll never be defeated.
And grandmother, sweet
Everyone, this is the second key from Barcelona. This is Big Carol. Thank you so much. May the gods be with us all from here forward and in the past.
Jeff, here you are. This is the key to happiness.
You know, Jeff is that kind of guy. He gets out there and opens things up, lets people in. He's an anarchist in his own way, does not believe in rules. It's the spirit of this neighborhood that lives through him and that he has helped to create.
Ah, the beautiful keys from the great saviors of humanity, the freedom involved. Ah, yes. Ah, Chico, I feel your spirit even now. Reverend Billy has sent us an exorcism and a blessing. He said he would come back at the next meeting, and he sends his blessing from San Francisco to us all. Thank you, Reverend Billy, for helping to save this garden. In the name of Chico Mendez, Earth Hallelujah!
Let it be known throughout the land that from this time henceforth, that the citizens of New York are determined to make our gardens free and democratic. This proclamation is a warning. First, any garden whose gate is closed 2 Saturdays in a row will have its lot clipped and replaced, and you can ask us for membership. 2, any garden that all of you can join will have its lock clipped. And 3, any garden that is run by dictators and bullies will have its lock clipped as well. This ends the proclamation.
And I say further, that no board member can take me away. We'll never surrender our key. No, no, I won't go.
What's wrong with a weed? True, they take up space a flower would occupy, but some weeds imitate flowers to such an extent that you have to go to horticultural school to tell the difference. No matter how many times you try to pull a weed out, it will continue to grow in the same place and others. What's right with Jeff Wright? Whether you classify him as a weed or a flower, It comes down to the same thing. He'll shake up your organization just like he shook up the poetry establishment by being an active participant. He doesn't just write poems, he lives them. He doesn't just read poems, he turns your place into a poetry event. He's an original. Treat him like a weed. You'll never get rid of him. Treat him like a flower, and both you and he will bloom.
But what has been done to rectify the situation?
Well, they're making a movie about it.
About the garden.
About the whole situation.
Is that perhaps this movie?
Just talk to the bird.
Well, I'm glad that the movie is being made.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see it.
I can't either.
I wonder if the first showing will be in the garden.
Well, one can always hope. After all, what is utopia if it doesn't exist? Whoops. I
Well,
guess
there's
that's
the bell.
it. There's the bell.
Everyone is a member of Eden.
watching you pick the top. Check out the Hen of the Woods we got going on the grill.
Oh, yeah?